Next, Professor Jurgita Malinauskaite represent Brunel University London and Vitatus Magnus University will discuss energy transition lesson from geothermal energy, showing how innovation and resource diversification contribute to the green shift.
Dziękuję. Dobry dzień. Good afternoon. It is a pleasure to be here. This is my third time presenting at this conference. I thought I did something right. They keep on inviting me. Thank you to the organizing. It's always fantastic to see so many familiar faces and also new faces, and to have that new generation that interested in such an important topic. I have kind of two affiliations, as you can see. I am head of Brunel Law School in the United Kingdom. I am also a visiting professor and senior researcher at Vytautas Magnus University in Lithuania. As you can tell from my accent, I am Lithuanian, and I am alumni of Vytautas Magnus University. So you have to contribute something back to your institution. So now I'm looking at all these new faces, new generation. One day you have to come back and contribute to your university. You should be so proud of. Okay, so today my topic is on energy transition, lessons from geothermal energy. And we heard from Professor Raphael Hevron before that EU talks so much about justice. It's so visible that, as you can see from the title, I actually skipped in the title. Though I will mention a little bit on about justice in the context of social acceptance. So my topic today, it is linked with a project that I'm currently involved in. I'm really proud of it. So we do have quite a few projects, being at Brunel, working a lot. Sorry. Thank you. Technology. Working a lot with engineers. So you get involved in all these fantastic opportunities. So now a little bit about, probably the skipped outline here, just for your information, what my talk will be about. I'll try to be quick because I think we are a bit behind the schedule. So first of all, in terms of renewable energy, so if you look at the statistics, so far how we are doing, transiting to renewables. So as you know, we all at the EU level we have this binding target of 52.5 by 2030, though obviously ambition is to achieve 45. So how we are doing right now, energy from renewable sources, we are around 24.5. That was in 2023. So we are behind, basically, because we have roughly about 5 years or less to achieve the remaining binding targets. And obviously, I put it on here. Some countries are doing better than the others. But as I said, we are kind of looking at the EU binding target to achieve. So Poland, it's, at the lower end, as you can see. Now, looking at the sources. So now, in terms of renewable energy sources, and here it's more in terms of electricity. So here, as you can see, we still have wind power, and it is probably to do with more political aspects that focus in terms of renewable at EU level. Again, here I'm talking about EU level. So wind, hydro, And solar, they are representing the largest category. Now, in terms of, you're probably thinking, okay, so my talk is about geothermal, it's not there. So this category is not really visible. It is falling under other renewable sources. This is why I'm promoting today geothermal. Now, what is happening if you think about comparison? So it is obviously more complex. We are not going in too much detail, but so I just made some comparison with solar and wind. So first of all, obviously, what is the most important thing? We need the sun to shine. We need to have wind when we are talking about this type of renewable sources. Geothermal is different. I do have a concept on how we defined it. When you might think about also capacity factor, here I ask our engineers to give me some figures. So for solar, it's about 20%, wind 25%, and if you look at the geothermal energy, it is 90%. And obviously, as I said, I'm a bit biased here. I'm presenting geothermal in this context. What it is also very important, because we sometimes forget about this factor, so that is land and footprint. So land, the way we are using land, I think right now, I found quite a few studies only recently that it has started actually talking about land usage in terms of renewables. So before, we kind of used to forget this factor. And when we talk about solar farms, we are using lots of land as well, in terms of wind footprint, it's quite high. I'm talking about onshore, not offshore, obviously here. But even the sea, it's also taking lots of space. It is different for geothermal. Obviously, we do need to use land, especially when we have power stations, so for drilling. But it is also saying that we, for example, like in Poland, obviously coal mining, it is quite, we think, it uses less land for geothermal than in comparison for, let's say, coal mining. The other thing that I am also currently working on another project on waste management in the circular economy. So one thing we will be writing a chapter on, which we are not talking much right now, but I think we should consider. It is waste produced by renewable energy. Because we know that, we have specific lifetime for solar panels when we're talking about wind turbines as well. So what will happen with all that waste and the end of their life? It's a nice report presented recently, as you can see, based on data 2024, but just published in July 2025. I would recommend to read European Geothermal Energy Council. So what we have geothermal market report, detailed to show the potential of geothermal energy. And potential is really high in many, many countries, European countries, in the EU. So it's actually, I can see, Baltic region is not there, but Lithuania has as well the potential. Because basically, it depends how deep you drill. So it depends what temperatures you're getting. But in terms of rocks, to get geothermal energy, it's really, the potential is huge in Europe. So now a little bit about the concept and, looking obviously from a bit of legal perspective. So geothermal, so we have two Greek words. And that is obviously reflected in the Renewable Energy Directive. So it means basically when we have heat from the earth. If you look at the directive, it's barely anything about geothermal. Okay, it is mentioned, we have this definition, but then that's where it stops. Not so much visibility. Also, when we talk about geothermal energy, it is really depends. Obviously, it's that national aspect needs, it's important, or regional even aspect is important. So we need to look either maybe to explore shallow or deep. And in literature, shallow is up to 500 meters. And I think kind of below 500 meters. Some countries you can go as deep as 4 kilometers or something like that to get to geothermal. And there are different exploitation using direct or indirect. As, for example, the most common and sort of potential is obviously for heating. I put maybe, do I have Sweden? No, Sweden is not on the slide. So for example, Sweden, 1/5 of houses are heated by geothermal. We are using mainly shallow, using heat pumps. I put some examples what is happening, because as I said at EU level, what it is at EU level, we have European Parliament actually pushed the Commission to produce strategy for geothermal energy. There are some delays, but the Commission is promising. So we are really, fingers crossed, we will have in 2026 a specific strategy for geothermal. So far, we do have at the moment an active working group. So in this one project, GeoFlex Heat, I'm working with COSVIC in Italy. So we are involved in this working group. So initially, the focus was on more deep geothermal, but now we are focusing on shallow and looking at different ideas how to push it forward. Because we always say that, you know, as lawyers, we say, we need to have policy, we need to have some kind of regulatory framework. And then, more importantly, we need to have some kind of implementation measures in place as well. So a few examples here. One thing that, for example, I want to show the Netherlands, because the Netherlands, as you can see, introduce a specific target for geothermal. And I think that is a good way to go forward, because it is really, it is some sort of described goal that you aim to achieve. Lots of things related also to funding. Obviously, upfront funding, it is quite important. So one thing, it is an investment, long-term investment. So you need to have money to start the project. However, in terms of operational side, it is really cost effective. So thinking long-term, it is the way to go. And because in the project I am involved working with Iceland and Italy, so I just gave a little bit example on Iceland. I had some interviews. I interviewed officials from the ministry and for agency responsible for energy. So there are lots of things for them, even though it's all geothermal. In Iceland, it's really remarkable to see how we utilize even things like having pipes under roads, so it melts snow and all these kind of things. So they are still thinking that actually we're not doing much. We need to have more. So yeah, we want, and I said to them, you know, you need to be an example for other countries, for other European countries. What is also important for me was because I will be working on social acceptance, I'll have to produce a guide as part of this project. For them, social acceptance is remarkable. You know, it's probably in contrast to Italy, where they're working as well. Italy, it's mainly geothermal, is in Tuscany region. So there it is more, yeah. Italians might think, and obviously we have some Italians here, saying, oh, but will it have impact on tourism? In Iceland, it is not like that. So it is I asked them if they ever had any complaints, and they said, no, we don't understand what I meant by that question. So very quickly, it is my last thing to conclude. So a very exciting project. We started last October. So 2 demo sites, one in Italy, baseload PowerPoint factory, and then in Italy. So it is a 3-year project. So what we are looking also, I am also involved in designing a business model, how to utilize geothermal energy, not only for very common things like heating, electricity, but going beyond. So you can use for fishing, you know, right now it's, for example, in Iceland, it's lots of geothermal is used for spas, for heating swimming pools, and etc. But it is much more to be done in that. So we really need to think about how we could diversify portfolio. So to conclude, I think one thing that it is definitely that national countries, they are doing much better. So you saw on the slide, we have like Germany right now really pushing heat pumps. And already we had Professor Katarzyna Kraśniewski mentioning about heat pumps that create so many jobs. So that is what's happening. Then the Netherlands and obviously France as well, looking at geothermal slightly outside, obviously Iceland. We have Turkey focusing a lot on geothermal. Missing point is EU, so we do need that direction from the EU, and as I said, at the moment it is missing. So district heating solutions, it would have been a very easy way to go. I think I have one statistical thing I thought it quite amazing. It is by Clean Air Task Force, we estimated that if we untap just 1% of Europe's high temperature geothermal resource, it could generate 18,000 terawatt hours of electricity. That would be equivalent of 1,400 cities, the size of Berlin. So that kind of level we are talking. So EU geothermal strategy is really needed. It's coming, hopefully soon, rather sooner than later. At the moment, that is one of the barriers. When, you know, obviously we need political will. We still need support. I would say always public-private partnerships are important in this context. When the legal frameworks and like what we have a presentation for Aliciana yesterday, we license permits, it's not at the moment designed specifically for geothermal. And again, it's creating obstacles and delays. Thank you.